All right, tonight we have an explosive new chapter in Mueller's partisan witch hunt. Now, we have now entered a dangerous new phase, and there's no turning back from this. It is clear, as I have been warning, Mueller is out to get the president, and it appears at any cost. Here's what happened. Upon referral from Special Counselor Robert Mueller, the FBI has raided the office, the home, and the hotel room of Michael Cohen, the personal attorney of the President of the United States. Now, the FBI reportedly seized records related to Cohen's payment to this porn star, Stormy Daniels, among other items. And according to Bloomberg tonight, this all came after the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, recommended that the Cohen investigation be pursued by federal prosecutors in New York. Now, keep in mind, Cohen was never part of the Trump administration or the Trump campaign. This is now officially an all-hands-on-deck effort to totally malign and, if possible, impeach the President of the United States. Now, Mueller and Rosenstein have declared what is a legal war on the president. And a source close to President Trump tonight is telling Fox News that Mueller's investigation is way out of control. My message tonight to Mueller is simple. If you have evidence of collusion, any at all, show it to us or end this partisan investigation. The country is hanging by a thread tonight, and you don't seem to care. The so-called Russia collusion investigation has now evolved from a baseless start to a criminal prosecution. Let's see, a Paul Manafort, from a 12-year-old payments from the Ukraine to a payment to a porn star named Stormy Daniels. Now, Mueller and Rosenstein, they're truly fulfilling the mainstream media's fantasy here, at least attempting to. Now, in fact, despite all of today's major breaking news, the fake news was totally obsessed with all Michael Cohen. Now, ultimately, President Trump was forced to address this Cohen issue during a meeting with military leaders. Here's what he said.
So I just heard that they broke into the office of one of my personal attorneys, good man, and it's a disgraceful situation. It's a total witch hunt. I've been saying it for a long time. I've wanted to keep it down. We've given, I believe, over 1 million pages worth of documents to the special counsel. They continue to just go forward, and here we are talking about Syria. We're talking about a lot of serious things with the greatest fighting force ever. And I have this witch hunt constantly going on. It's a disgrace. It's frankly a real disgrace. It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for. So when I saw this and when I heard it like you did, I said that is really now at a whole new level of unfairness. They found no collusion whatsoever with Russia. The reason they found it is there was no collusion at all. No collusion. This is the most biased group of people. These people have the biggest conflicts of interest I've ever seen. The Attorney General made a terrible mistake when he did this and when he recused himself, or he should have certainly let us know if he was going to recuse himself, and we would have put a different Attorney General in. We've had that hanging over us now from the very, very beginning. And yet the other side, they don't even bother looking. And the other side is where there are crimes. And those crimes are obvious. Lies under oath all over the place. Emails that are knocked out, that are acid washed and deleted. Nobody's ever seen. 33,000 emails are deleted after getting a subpoena for Congress. And nobody bothers looking at that.
The president is exactly right. This is a huge, massive double standard. You think Hillary Clinton's attorneys had their offices raided during this email investigation? Not a chance. You think Hillary Clinton's lawyers, were they raided after it was determined she bought and paid for that phony Russian dossier to influence the general election? Not a chance. No investigation. Any raids, any arrests after the massive FISA abuse allegations were exposed? Not a single chance. Were there any raids, any arrests after Hillary Clinton? We know she obstructed justice. We know she deleted 33,000 emails. We know she deleted all of them and used the acid wash that the president was talking about, bleach pit, and then had the devices busted up with hammers. Anybody do anything there? Not a chance. Everything we've been telling you about, this two-tier justice system, we don't have equal justice under the law. It should be in the minds of every American citizen tonight. Robert Mueller is so far beyond his mandate. This is now spiraling out of control. Everything that we have warned you about is now coming to fruition. And Mueller has ostensibly tonight declared war against the President of the United States. Clearly, his objective is to remove him from office. Now, I told you, and I've told anyone who will listen, Mueller's team is corrupt, starting with him, and it has been from the beginning. Now, show us the evidence of collusion or this investigation needs to end. Ultimately, Mueller's runaway investigation can all be traced back to one unfortunate act. The president alluded to this. The Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, recusing himself from the Russia investigation, leaving Rod Rosenstein, let's see, Mueller's best friend, Comey's best friend, McCabe's best friend, to act in his behalf. He is basically the Attorney General. And tonight, as this investigation is now spiraling out of control, it is time to start making moves, perhaps, maybe even like Congressman Mark Meadows suggested, impeaching Rosenstein. And we'll explain that later in the program. And this leads us directly, by the way, to our next story. The slow release of these subpoenaed documents from the Justice Department to the House Judiciary Committee, the House Intel Committee, regarding the FBI's Clinton email investigation and the potential FISA abuses during the presidential election. The Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, appointed a U.S. attorney to oversee the delivery of more than 1.2 million documents. So far, the Justice Department has offered 3,600. That's it. Why are they slow walking? Why aren't they handing over what Congress has subpoenaed, and it is their constitutional right to look at vis-a-vis oversight? According to a new report tonight from Sarah Carter, quote, some lawyers are now saying the DOJ's appointment is nothing but political theater to avoid contempt of Congress. Make no mistake, these documents are crucial if we're going to find answers about how the Obama Justice Department, under Loretta Lynch and the FBI Director James Comey, handled, or rather mishandled, the Clinton investigation. These documents will shed light on how Hillary was cleared of all charges. I've never heard of an exoneration before an investigation before, and I doubt any of you have as well. These documents could show how the FISA system was used to spy on a presidential campaign and how they lied to FISA court justice. Why won't the Justice Department release the unredacted FBI memo that Devin Nunes of the House Intel Committee has been demanding? What was used, of course, to justify the entire Russia collusion investigation to begin with. Now, this is more than frustrating, and just one more example that we now live in a country with a two-tier justice system. This is what I've been warning you about. The FBI is more than capable of tracing a Russia collusion investigation somehow to a porn star and the door of Donald Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, but the Justice Department of the United States of America is slow-walking and purposely not even releasing documents they have in their possession that has been subpoenaed by the United States Congress, the Judiciary Committee, the Intel Committee. It's shameful. This should alarm every person watching this broadcast tonight. And we'll have a lot more on that in a few minutes. Alan Dershowitz, Sarah Carter, Greg Jarrett are all here. But the media, while they're obsessing over Michael Cohen, yeah, there are really important stories to bring to you. Over the weekend, according to multiple reports on the ground, an anti-Assad suburb of Damascus was subject to a deadly chemical weapons attack. Horrific video captured from the scene. It shows men, it shows women, it shows children gasping for air, foaming at the mouth, with many laying on the ground dead from what appears to be yet another gas attack from the Assad regime against their own people. And as we speak, the president is once again weighing his options in Syria. And here's what the president said about this earlier today.
We're going to make a decision tonight or very shortly thereafter, and you'll be hearing the decision. But we can't let atrocities like we all witnessed, and you can see that, and it's horrible. We can't let that happen. In our world, we can't let that happen. Especially when we're able to, because of the power of the United States, because of the power of our country, we're able to stop it. We have a lot of options militarily, and we'll be letting you know pretty soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you all.
Probably after the fact.
Now, according to General Mattis, all options were on the table, including a military response in Syria. Earlier today, the president said he would make a decision in the next 24 to 48 hours. Russia and Iran are now coming to Assad's defense, denying Assad actually launched the chemical attack. And as I have said many times on this program, just one more reason this flawed Iranian nuclear deal needs to be canceled immediately. I believe the president will do that soon. As the president said, Russia should also be paying a big price for supporting Assad, including new sanctions and political restrictions. And of course, this comes a little over a year after President Trump, remember, he launched dozens of cruise missiles, heavily damaging an airbase in Syria after a similar gas attack in 2017. And sadly, this also comes after years of complete and utter total inaction from the Obama administration. Remember, Obama's imaginary red line in the sand and the price we've now paid. This goes back to 2012.
We have communicated in no uncertain terms with every player in the region that that's a red line for us, and that there would be enormous consequences if we start seeing movement on the chemical weapons front or the use of chemical weapons. That would change my calculations significantly.
Now, of course, the red line was crossed, Obama's bluff was called, and the region fell into complete and utter chaos with many subsequent gas attacks to follow. Then in 2013, the Obama administration struck an utterly laughable diplomatic agreement with Assad, which guaranteed the removal of 100% of the chemical weapons from Syria. Okay, I guess they're not gone. As it turns out, murderous dictators are not exactly trustworthy, and Obama's policy in Syria ended up being a total failure, left to the president now to rectify. So with action now imminent in Syria tonight, we'll bring you any breaking developments as they happen. Also tonight, in an attempt to get ahead of James Comey's impending book tour, the former Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, is now speaking out, trying to explain some of, well, her unusual and potentially illegal actions during the FBI's Clinton email investigation back in 2016. Remember when Lynch directed the FBI Director James Comey to call Clinton's criminal investigation, quote, matter, not an investigation, and he listened. Now take a look at how she now tries to explain this away, all while throwing poor James Comey under the bus before his book tour. This was an interview with NBC News.
This was a very sensitive investigation, as everyone knew. And the issue when he and I sat down at that time, which I think was early in the fall of 2015, was whether or not we were ready as a department to confirm an investigation going on. When we typically do not confirm or deny investigations into anything, with rare exceptions.
But so Comey says you want to call it the Clinton matter. He wants to call it the Clinton investigation. To the extent, though, that he noted it, that it bothered him, did he go to you and question your credibility with regard to the Clinton case?
Well, yeah, I can tell you that, you know, it was a meeting like any other that we had where we talked about the issues. But we had a full and open discussion about it.
He didn't raise any concerns about it?
And concerns were not raised.
All right, we'll have more on Loretta Lynch's comments later in the show. First, joining us now to react to our top story tonight, author of the bestseller, Trumped Up: The Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. Famed Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz raided the president's personal